No, I'm going to be though.
We're here with the Forestas and the Cordell. We're gonna break down some of our riding that we did today on the pump track at Trailside. So I'll just go through a lap that each of them did and kind of let each person say what they see basically and look at it from a different angle. We have three totally different built riders. That's something that's really important to look at when you are looking at people to learn from, especially on the internet, and make sure that they match your body type. It doesn't make sense for me to try to ride like Soph or Amanda or even Joey because I'm 100 pounds more than Joey. Even though we're close in height, my style is going to be a little bit different. So I need to look at a guy like Mike Day, who is 6'2" or more and 220 plus pounds. Diesel just about took out Steve. So that's something that's really important to look at, guys. As you're looking at riders to learn from, make sure that their body style matches yours, because that's going to be really important and picking up tips from them. So first we'll have Amanda coming through. We're going to one time, and then we'll watch it one time full speed, then go kind of through slow-mo and let everybody cameo from Maddox right there, really important. All right.
That was slow-mo, right?
Yeah, that was the slow-mo. All right, so first we're gonna go. Soph, I'm gonna come to you first when we come into this middle corner here. So coming through here, like, what would you see or suggest? What do you see for Amanda?
I see one thing that she's doing very well, and I see one thing that can be improved on. The first thing that she's doing really, really well is looking around the corner. As she's going around, she's looking ahead of her. She's not looking right at her tire. She sees what's coming after, not exactly what she's doing. Her eye gaze isn't at her front tire. It's the next thing that she'll be hitting. One thing that she could work on is possibly putting her outside foot down a little bit more to be able to carve the corner. But that comes with riding a lot, and luckily with BMX I've had a lot of practice with that. But with these pump tracks, you get a lot more speed when you can put your outside foot down and just pump through the corner, and you get a lot more out of it.
So right here, this is technically the outside foot, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so you'd want that like actually like down here or in the front or the back, like with some of these transitions that are so quick, are you shifting the pedals every time?
Yeah. So every time, you're not even necessarily pedaling. It's just like when she's going to go around that corner, she just drops it back. And then with the next one, she'll push it forward just because that's how it'll work out. But that one she'll have to drop back. Or, well, no, actually she would, sorry.
Yeah,
since she's opposite foot from me, so she would actually push that one forward and drop back for this next one. She's opposite me, so I apologize.
Amanda, what are you thinking, like, as you're going through?
Yeah, I think she's right. Like, when I get, like, into the belly of the turn, maybe just a little more push on that outside pedal.
But you can already see, though, like, when she's going around that corner, if you back all the way up, even before she's in it, her head is already basically turned completely sideways. She is not even looking at what's even close to what's ahead of her. So you can see she's looking straight at us.
That's always been a problem for me, looking down at my front tire.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things to get used to. But yeah, you're looking straight at basically Deacon, which is awesome.
Well, when you have like a really good-looking point ahead of you guys, filming for you guys to look at, the three of you guys were just...
She was looking at Maddox.
I was looking at Maddox.
You guys suck. Joey was looking at me.
I was. I don't know about you guys.
Joey, what's something that you would see, like, style-wise, or for you, like...
Well, you look at it in, like Amanda said, she could probably get more out of the corner a little bit and just get a little bit more aggressive. she was just kind of riding it, and she could push into it more and get a pump out of it.
So this is something that she and I were talking about the other day, and so let's look at these two right here. Where do you guys like to see that? So go ahead and you can scroll beside, just you can move across the bottom of it. The track.
I'm sorry, that was my bad.
And move forward and back. Like, so kind of get to where you think you would like to be really at that driving point. That's something that's been messing me up is too late or too early. You know, and Soph hit it when we were at the BMX track the other day of actually coming up for that drive before the lip and kind of skipping the lip and driving down was kind of what clicked in my head.
Uh-huh.
So where...
You want to be pushing... So... Wait, sorry, let me move this. Alright. So... Going into the corner, you want to be down like Amanda was, and then you want to, like, right... She started to stand up, and if you watch my video, hopefully I'm down in my bike more to about right here, or right there probably,
So
and then you pump.
Now you want to be slower at that point?
You want to get higher. You want to.
Okay.
You want to be
so
lower.
So she's standing up. So come back forward
up too early.
Yeah, she didn't get the full pump out of it.
Okay, so she should be standing up there.
No, she should be down more. So see how down, like how down into her bike she is right there.
Right.
She should be in that like squat position until like there, and then.
I'm just standing up too soon.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah. Well, that's something we were talking about. Like a lot of people that understand skiing, and this was what changed for me recently was learning where that transition of up and down was. So let's see who's coming next, and then we'll look at that. Okay, here we got Soph. Soph's pretty new to the bike, especially like corners and stuff, so we'll watch it one time. We won't be overly critical.
You could be extremely critical.
And now, Soph, we will give you a little bit of a mulligan here because this is not your bike of choice. So let's just, again, go down the line. Amanda, I'll kind of give you a chance to ask or point out anything that you see here.
She definitely is pushing, like, all the way through the turn, unlike I was.
So I guess the biggest thing that I saw from that was, like you guys were saying, was that just that a little bit coming down here, and now she's up driving through that point right there, really putting pressure onto everything, getting ready to set up now tall and absorbing and driving back through, and then right there in the middle coming up through it again. So a lot of that's timing. Soph, what's it like? Or first, actually, Joey, what's anything you see for Soph going through this?
Can I watch that one more time?
Yep. As you can see, Soph's still looking ahead. That's probably one of the hardest things for someone to get in the habit of doing is looking ahead.
Yeah.
It's a really hard skill to learn because you have to constantly remind yourself until it becomes habit. Takes forever.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good. It's textbook, but
Yeah, like anything?
she just could get a little bit more aggressive, and she could have got more out of it, but she did pretty good on it. Yeah.
Hey, you can't. If you're gonna throw from the peanut gallery, now you got to step in here. Come on, no, you just blew it. They know you're here. They know you're here. You just blew it.
Just it's
All right, we got
it's
Coach
technical-
Foresta, Papa Foresta in here.
coach.
You know, his kids are obviously just freaks on the bike, but he's watched them do this more and more. You know, he's one of those guys that would tell you that most likely would tell you he doesn't know shit about it, but
True, I don't.
he has watched more laps and more gate starts probably than anyone else will in a career between two kids and then two disciplines. So what were you just saying?
Well, I mean, like Joey said, everything was pretty much textbook, but not being on that bike and not being used to being on dirt in corners,
Yeah.
because most of Soph's riding is on BMX tracks, so they're completely groomed and not loose. Trusting the tire.
Yeah.
I think that's really the difference between mountain biking and BMX is mountain biking you're always going to have the tires are going to let loose, whereas they almost never do in BMX. And if they do, you're on slicks, you're going down.
And that's something that, like, I mean, even, you know, like we were talking about, like, when I realized how narrow my tires were down at Mammoth, I was like, holy shit. And like how, like, almost not bare, but just not the same. And that's been a big thing, is learning what can my bike actually do in a corner, you know. And I'm a big guy, so when I really start to drive into it, it's going to be a little bit different than like Joey, who's smoother and has more technique. But so mine's going to be a little bit more. So it's learning that
What the bike can handle, what the course can handle, and you know, again, what she was doing is technique, and I like the way she's looking around the corner. Outside foot is down, her weight's where it needs to be, but you can see the dust coming up, a little bit of being loose.
Yeah.
You know, another week on that bike, just at the pump track a few more
just
times,
a little
and she would
hesitation.
probably just attack it even a little bit harder.
So for you when you're riding that? Like, this is the first time really, like, all summer you've gotten to get out and ride this stuff on that bike. What is the biggest difference in the feel? You don't have to be emotional about it. Sorry. She gets when we start to give her tips, she gets really upset. And
I do. Take it to heart.
just so everyone knows, Soph is allergic to dogs and championing it with two dogs around here who love her. So what is that difference feel for you?
Well, so I have like probably the stiffest bike that you will ever ride in your life, and going from that to having a bike that has suspension is like completely different. So pumping with suspension, you're obviously losing a little bit of it because of the suspension and it's absorbing it. With my bike, there's none of that. So I'm getting everything out of what I'm pumping. But I feel like you have to work a lot harder on a mountain bike just because it's not working against you, but the suspension isn't really helping. So I felt like
It's sucking up a lot of the energy.
Yeah.
Taking some of that force away.
Yeah. So I had to push a lot harder to gain the speed and to keep the speed. I mean, with my bike, it rolls really, really quickly, and there's nothing taking away from it, so you can just kind of flow with it and follow it. And with this, you have to keep trying.
That's where my hesitation was coming from, because I'm usually on a mountain bike with suspension, and now I have this hardtail where it's responding to every single movement, and it's scary. And so we're having hesitation for opposite reasons.
Yeah.
But
For you, is it kind of like when you reach for that step and the step's not there, and all of a sudden you just get, you get like an extra 2 inches and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
So you're going to drive, and then it's just like.
Yeah. And I think like what my dad was saying is I'm so used to a groomed track where even if my back tire slides a little bit, I'd like freak out because like that just doesn't happen. So here, like at these pump tracks, or like if I even go downhilling with Joey, that little bit of slide isn't bad, and it happens, but I don't understand that, and I'm not used to it. So it scares me because I feel like I'm going to slide out when really I just need to trust the tires and know they'll hold me as long as I'm in the correct position.
And now we get to watch Joe.
No, because we brought in Coach Foresta, I know that you would be devastated if he didn't actually break yours down for you a little bit. So let's go through that one again, just Steve, real quick. Just again, from the athlete's perspective, we always see certain things, but then from the coaching perspective, from the sideline, we always see things a little bit different. And and that's why I love to give this footage to our athletes to have the chance to look at. But we see a different perspective because we don't look at it from a rider's perspective, and even for me, from a strength coach, I look at it from a movement. Like I look at where her butt is and the angle of her back, and like see the things that like when she and I work out and train that we're going to focus on a little bit more because of like this position or whatever that I see here. So what do you, so coming through here, like, what do you have?
So her head position is really good. I like, she's looking to the next obstacle as she's going over the previous one, which is fantastic. And like you said, Amanda, it's a huge improvement. I know you've been working on that. I think that's really good. I think the body position's good. I think, again, it gets to be more aggressive and trusting your bike.
Yeah.
But that comes with time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not something that you can go out once a week and do 4 or 5 pump laps and get. This is something that really, in my opinion, it's the best training for all of biking. It's something that these guys grew up with since they were 5 years old. Is doing pump tracks in the Kelly's backyard. And the more you do, the more aggressive you can be, the more that you learn what your bike can handle, what it can't. You read what the corner can handle and what it can't, which is a big part of it, because you can actually overpin it, and you're going to be slower. You're going to be losing traction.
Well, I saw that a lot at Nat Champs. Those corners were so, like, boing, kind of like ping pong ball corners. And these kids would watch Joey and these pros, like, really nail it and come out. So, and this is what I told Dylan Bonino. They were going in trying to, like, pound these corners, and then they were having to pedal out because they were just seeing these guys, like, nail it and I just saw them losing speed. And so for some of them, it's like, all right, there's that fine line of really nailing that corner and picking up speed versus almost driving it in, like, against a wall and then having to, like,
I think
rebound.
People, which is really cool. You watch a lot of the videos and you watch people slapping turns, right? And it's really cool to watch. You see that on videos over and over and over and over again. Not realizing that it's cool, but it's probably slower in most cases.
Yes.
Than railing the turn. And although it looks cooler, it's probably not the thing to be practicing. But again, you see it in the videos, and it is, it's fun, and there's a lot of great things to it. But if you're in the pump track and you're losing traction and you're slapping a turn, you're slowing down. Mm-hmm. So sometimes slower is faster.
Yeah.
Something that Mike put into your head since he was 5 years old. Joe, you got to slow down to be fast.
Yeah.
And everybody thought Mike Kelly was crazy.
It's working out. Now let's be honest. Like, we all love Mike Kelly, and we've all, like, that dude has more knowledge to offer in the bike world than probably anyone you'll ever come across from multiple disciplines, and not to mention he can still just ride the shit out of a bike. Yeah. But we love him too because he's real fucking crazy.
Yeah.
we love you, Mike.
That's what he does at even his age. He's
sometimes crazy works though.
Crazy. It's that fine line. All right, so here we go. We got the rookie.
Can we just not watch Joey? We're just gonna cry.
So if we miss that, we'll show you guys again. Again, this is kind of Joey's specialty. He's on his, the girls were a little bit out of their element, or we'll give him that, but Soph, give you the first dibs to what's something that you see, something you like, something that maybe differs from your style.
Well, let's just say Joey's style and my style are two completely different things.
How so? Like, kind of, obviously, like, I would describe you guys as power and finesse.
I would agree with that.
But, like, so what do you, when you look at Joey's style, what do you think?
For me, at least when we, like, do these pump tracks and stuff, I see Joey, and you were saying that one's power and one's finesse, but I think Joey's both when he rides the track. Because when he's on a pump track, nobody goes faster than Joey on a pump track. Because he can push down those backsides so hard while still being smooth around those corners where he's not losing speed. Like my dad was saying, not slapping the corners. He's going around them smooth while still gaining speed. And I think that's why he's just so good, because he's got the combination of both. Because you see some guys or some girls that are just so strong and are just slapping the corners or just struggling around all the corners because they just can't hold that speed. And Joey can, while still maintaining and gaining speed and still being strong and not getting all over the place and trying too hard. I think that's, slower is faster. Sometimes you don't need to go completely all out to be fast. And Joey's smoothness and his power come in while still not trying way too hard and going over his head.
What do you see? Like, what stands out to you,
What
Amanda?
I notice the most is that when Joey's taller, when Joey's tall, he's taller, and when he's short, he's shorter. Like, he has more range than both of us in his pump.
So,
And I think that's where the power and speed is coming
so
from.
here's something that's changed in my opinion since when I first started working with these guys a year ago, to going to Sea Otter and watching that pump track where it was, who won that? Who was,
Martin Soderstrom.
and he's giant. He's a giant.
Like
I was like,
6'4", yeah.
and I started thinking, I was like, man, like action sports as a whole, for the most part across the board, the smaller you are, the more benefit you have. But more and more, I'm seeing these giants. Kyle Straight's a big dude. Mike Day's a big dude.
Mm-hmm.
In seeing leverage and being able, if you're able to use that length like you do, Joey, that's where that power. And and that's something that's kind of started to just tweak in my mind a little bit. But
I think there's two things with that. So I think the taller you are, and
I mean, you're standing up on your toes there.
I mean,
Yeah,
you know
he's
the
getting
science
as
behind
much
it
as he
more than I
can
do. But
out
I
of
will
his
say
pump.
that you also look at a guy like a Barry Nobles, who's a shorter guy.
Right. That podium was the weirdest podium ever because there's three totally different dudes.
So my guess is, and I don't know this for sure, but the taller guys, when it's right, it's really right. Whereas the shorter guys,
there's
try to
margin
get it right more
consistently.
consistently. Because I think their timing is probably a little bit better, and their fast twitch muscles might be a little bit activated a little bit faster. I don't know. I mean, but you look at a guy like Barry Nobles, and it's like, wow, he can generate some power, and he's what, 5'8", 5'9", maybe?
On a good day. Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, Joey's range of motion here is
His
more
range
so.
is very.
Yeah.
He's getting as much
But
out of it
how low
as
he is.
physically possible, which
But that's
we were
from-
not doing.
But what I don't want you guys to take away from that is that's from him trusting his tires and
Yeah.
his bike.
Yeah.
Because you look at you on a BMX track on a rhythm section straight away. I mean, just look at
Oh, yeah, she
90%
has
of
that.
your pictures. You're like this. I mean,
You're
chin's-
eating the handlebar.
Yeah.
You had
There
that
are plenty
same
of times I've hit my helmet off the bar.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, you have that same range of motion. It's just you're comfortable doing
Yeah.
it in a straight line on a
Yeah.
BMX track.
No,
Joey's comfortable doing it around here, and you're getting comfortable. It's just getting. Because when you go down from that point, it's going to hurt, right? I mean,
Yeah, for sure. So it's all about trusting your equipment and trusting your skills.
and the speed of it. So
So, Joey, I want to ask you here. You're the only one that I have seen out of like watching this, or this is the first time I've noticed it with you. Here that I don't know what I'm doing. How do I get out of this?
You're on the white line thingy.
I know I don't want to be.
Press that one of the other ones, and yeah.
You
then
probably
that-
should have practiced first.
I did. I've been doing it perfect
Maybe
the whole
we should let
time.
Max do this part.
All right. Anyways, we can see it. Joey, you're staying on your toes.
Yeah,
Like, is that a conscious?
I've actually never known that till now.
I mean, you are like, and you. This is the only time that you really ride clipped in, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't ride any different, so I am doing that with flats too. But yeah, I mean,
But can you like to me, like I see you here, knowing that you're, and I don't know, and I'd be curious to see this on flats if because you know your foot's not going to come off there, and you have such good skills. I'm curious to know if like without even knowing it, you know that you can drive through those toes and pull that bike back to you a little bit more. Like I'd be curious to get a foot.
yeah.
I'd be curious to get this same corner and watch it with flats, just to see if you do it as much. I mean, I don't think that there's obviously not a right or wrong here, but I've never noticed it on anybody as much with some of these breakdowns. But I mean, that blows my mind how much you are using that as a power. And obviously you come off of you're in the power spot here. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Tap one more time.
Oh, maybe.
Yep.
I think maybe.
You know,
that
you're.
was because I nose tapped that next. Will you roll it for a second?
You can't figure it out.
Yeah, see, I nose tapped that, so that may have been.
So let's look at the next one.
Yeah.
Can we see the next one if he does it, or the previous?
Yeah, I mean, you're up there on this one
Yeah,
though.
he is too.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I mean, you're driving with. You're doing it because it gets your hips in a powerful position.
Well, so he's pushing down on his pedals, but he's also coming up for that next.
Well,
push.
and so here's my
So-
point from a coaching perspective. What's happening when we go through a jump or to be explosive in anything, an Olympic lift, we start in our heels and our glutes and we drive, and this is where we finish. So a lot of people think about the toes being the most powerful position. It's just it's a byproduct in the end process. This is where the power generates from. And so what I've noticed from is that you're going, and you are so powerful driving up through that to get full power that you're up on the toes to then come back into that drive. And that's all I'm saying. Like, I've just never would have seen it like that, of truly breaking. I mean, because look, you're down flat foot here, your heels down there, driving to that corner, and you explode with your hips up to get that power.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet if we did a really breakdown of you in the gate, that's the exact same thing. It was just interesting to me to see how much more you did it on there, and I guarantee you she does it way more than anyone else in the gate.
Probably.
But I will say, though, too, even though Joey is on clips, Joey rides so consistently with clips or on flats. Like, for me, when I jump on flats, I'm a lot more timid and not nearly as aggressive. Joey, he rides nearly identical. And I mean, something like that may not be as easy, but you will still see, I'm sure, that drive from the feet a little bit. Probably not as much, just because of it may not work out as well, and it's not like he's thinking.
I'm just curious. Like, I was just curious. Like, to me, like
the same way.
And like that also comes down to me, like I'm just doing anything I can to get my feet to stay on the pedals. And just be like, oh my god, if I was really trying to drive like that.
Yeah, I've never noticed
Me
that
neither.
part of it.
Me
It'd be
neither.
interesting. We'll have to take some film of you on flat pedals too.
It's just cool. Like, those are just, and again, for anybody watching this or whatever, those are the fine little details. We can teach everybody in the gym. These guys can do clinics and teach you guys the fundamentals that they use. But when you get to that next level of riding, everything's about little tweaks that work to your specific person. And so for someone, and when I first started working with you guys, it's like the best thing that we can do is have anybody try to mimic you. No one's going to do it like you. So if I went out and was like, oh, this is going to try to drive on a toe, and I would even say it would probably mess you up a little bit if you really thought about that.
Yeah.
If you were like, oh, I want to try to do that more. Because you're thinking about it, and that's just something that you just do. That it's just you. And so obviously we just honed in on that a lot. So if you're watching this, don't take that as this is what we need to focus on. There was just an impressive feat of just the ability of where they are. Like, from my coaching physics, standpoint, that was really interesting to me and cool. So for those watching it, don't take that as that's what I need to do. But so that's kind of the gist of it, and 3 different styles. Joey, what did you see going through this that you liked or wish didn't like?
I'm gonna pick on myself, but I didn't like the last corner I set up for it. Horrible.
So the one where we're talking about your toes.
No, the following one. So.
Right there?
No. Keep going straight. Oh wait.
Other
Other
way.
way. Yeah, I set up too much inside, so it pushed me out to the outside of the corner.
So we're talking about this line that you took coming in here versus wishing you had come in up here.
Yeah. Here, can I
So,
pause it
yeah.
for a sec?
So real quick, actually, this man and I talked about this the other day when we were riding of where to come into that. So, Joey, since we're kind of on your world right now, just give it, a real quick kind of a breakdown of what you're looking for as far as your positioning.
How do you move the screen? Oh, there we go. Whoa. Yeah. All right. So, how I did it is I set up, and you'll see it, and it pushes me to the outside line, to the top of the corner.
Yeah.
And you want to go set up outside so you can ride more of the middle to bottom of the corner. And number one, you'll get more traction and more confidence, and better exit speed as well. So, yeah.
So isn't it that before that?
Go forward more so you can see. You almost even go up over the corner.
Yeah, and this is where he slapped.
So yeah.
In order to keep on course, he had to slap the top of it.
So lose a bunch of speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. And if I did set up more outside.
Properly, like me and Soph.
Yeah, then he could have got the backside of where he is right there, where he's off the ground, and he would have been able to generate even more speed.
Yeah, I mean, I would have hit it a lot faster if I was right here, and I just would have been gone. So, yeah, that's just one of those things where I just screwed up, but yeah.
They are all mortal. Surprisingly, they're all still working on it. And you guys, that's another thing to take away is that with all of these athletes we work with, they're all putting in time. Like, they're all addressing weaknesses. They're not scared to look and see the failures because that's where they're going to get better. And, there's always stuff to take away from 3 different disciplines here, 3 different approaches and techniques, and be like, maybe I can tweak a little bit of what I'm doing. But again, when it comes to trying to find riders to mimic or follow or whatever, first thing is always make sure that they match your body type. That is extremely important. And lots of times we don't understand what the body type looks like on videos or whatever. So that's, as you're going about it, make sure that is something you look at in riders, because that can play a lot into the style of the way they do things. So this was one of our tech tip breakdowns, and we will have a lot more of these. And we'll cover a lot of different disciplines. We will probably see these 3 in here a lot the most with us, because it's some of the most technical riders in different fashions to break that down. So it's a lot of fun to work with. So you guys got anything to finish off?
No.
Just have fun on your bike.
Yeah, a lot of bike time. I think that's what's most important.
Yep.
Getting to know your bike and your body and getting ride time.
That's how I've gotten to the point that I pretty much beat these guys now, is that I've just taken their time, and so it's pretty much next year they're going to be them taking meter races.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
Cool. We will talk to you guys next time. Thanks. Word. Sweet.